Hey everyone, Vicky from Valkyrie Tarot, coming at you with the third part of the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Again, I apologize if I slaughtered the name. So far we've gone through the first agreement, which is be impeccable with your word, living with integrity. The second, which is don't take anything personally, learning how to move outside of your ego and realize that it's not about you. It's about everybody else type of thing. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. I don't know if you guys have this saying in other countries, but we have assuming just makes an ass out of you and me. And it's true. We make assumptions every day, and it's based on our life experiences. If somebody looks at me a certain way, I'm going to assume that they feel a certain way about me based on my life experience. You know, if somebody flirts with me, I'm going to assume that they're interested in me versus just not being nice, you know. Sometimes assumptions get us into some hot water. I'm sure many of us out there have been stuck in a situation where you assumed something about another person, and then all of a sudden you kind of had to put your foot in your mouth because you realized, I assumed wrong. I look like an idiot, you know? The issue with assumptions is that when we make them, we believe they are true. And the hard thing with truth is that my truth is not always your truth. And your truth is not always the truth of the person next to you. Our truth is our perception. And I'll talk about that in the next stage here. But what happens is when we make assumptions and our truth is questioned, our ego gets triggered. We take things personally. Step number 2, okay? The reason we make assumptions is because another person wasn't impeccable with their word. So it left a gray area where we needed to assign a meaning to what was said or wasn't said. Take, for instance, when people ghost each other, which is a deplorable act. I don't understand where it came from. I find it incredibly disrespectful. It has happened to me before. And I hold people accountable for it because I think they should understand that what they do is not respectful of other people. Yes, I take it personally, but I try to work through it and understand why they would have done it. Again, we are all a work in progress, okay? But when somebody ghosts you, you automatically assume that, oh, I'm rejected, they don't like me, they moved on to someone else, they're cheating on me, they hate me for something, even though I don't know what it is. You know, we automatically start to break down our ego and fall into this negative mindset simply because the other person wasn't impeccable with their word and gave a reason why they're just going to go MIA with contact. Maybe somebody died. Maybe they're going through a really difficult time. Maybe they got sick. Maybe they lost their phone. You know, we make assumptions without really knowing the truth of the other person. Instead, we build this truth within our own mind. And there's a saying, I think it's Matt Nathanson, the singer, and he says, life never measures up to the movie in my mind. And that's so true. We all have these expectations. And when other people don't live up to these expectations, it causes issues. We believe that this version of who this person is supposed to be is going to happen, and when it doesn't happen, we are let down and we are disappointed. And if our assumptions fail us time and time again, we start to fall into a shame spiral. Our ego really goes into a twisty turny, you know, toilet plunge all the way down. And it's because we're assuming things, because things aren't clearly communicated to us. If things aren't communicated, if boundaries aren't communicated, if triggers aren't communicated clearly, people are going to assume that how they are acting and how they are behaving is safe and is okay to the other person. we don't realize until it's too late that these triggers have been pushed and boundaries have been knocked over, and because they weren't clearly defined, now we're sitting here ashamed of ourselves because we don't know what we did wrong. And we take it personally, and the other person takes it personally. All because somebody wasn't impeccable with their word and clear with their communication. It's hard. It's definitely hard. Assumptions, again, are based on experiences. No one's experience in life is exactly the same. Our DNA is 99.99999% the same, but it's still different. And our experiences add to that difference. You know, I'm the youngest of 3 sisters. We grew up in the same household with the same expectations and the same education and the same environment, but yet we are all 3 different people because of our experiences that we've shared in our lives. The importance of this step in order to work through it is to speak clearly and honestly with intent. And if somebody has offended you, or if you've made an assumption that has offended another person, respond with compassion, respond with empathy, put your ego on the back burner. Realize that there was not an intent to harm. If there was an intent to harm, then that's a totally different story, and that's not part of this. Compassion, empathy, communication. Okay? All right, I'm done with level 3. Now we're going to move on to the 4th agreement. Hope to see you there. Deuces.